What up, everybody? This is it. I am back on Monday. I am so excited. I'm a little sad to be leaving my little ones, but I'm excited to be back and see you. It is Friday. It's the weekend, and I am, like I said, I am pumped up that I don't have to record another one of these and that I can be in class with you guys on Monday. I miss most of you. No, I'm just kidding. I hope that you guys have been great to Mr. G. Please thank him for being a rock star and covering my class for the last couple of weeks so I could be home with my little ones. It's been awesome. But like I said, I am excited to be back. So today, lesson 12.2. All right. So we're going to talk about preventing and treating alcohol abuse. And we're going to do the 12.2 review. Monday, we're going to do the chapter review. Chapter review on Monday, and we're going to take a test early next week. And then we're going to start talking about drugs. We're going to be, talking about drugs until the end of the year. So, like I said, we're going to wrap this year up pretty quick here. We have like 3 weeks left. So let's get to it. So the essential question for lesson 12.2 is, what skills can you use to prevent alcohol use and help those who abuse alcohol? So you should be able to analyze the influences on alcohol use, including your genetic makeup, mental health conditions, and environment. List government approaches to reducing alcohol use. Describe strategies for preventing alcohol use and refusing offers of alcohol. Explain the treatment option available for people with an alcohol use disorder, and assess how you can help someone with an alcohol use disorder. So, warm-up activities. Select one of the statements from the table and state whether you agree or disagree. Alcohol use in teens can cause issues with brain development. Yes. Duh. Learning effective refusal skills can help you avoid alcohol if your peers offer it to you. Yes. Okay. Like when I was in high school, they'd make us do like role playing. I always thought that was stupid, but like seriously, being able to say no is a huge skill, not just for alcohol. Being able to say no for everything. People say yes to too much stuff. So being able to say no and having effective refusal skills can really help, not just with alcohol, but with everything in life. One of the most effective ways the government tries to decrease alcohol use is by setting a drinking age. We can go either way with this one, right? We watched that video on Wednesday. I don't know. I think that it's effective in making people binge drink. I really do. I think that if we really cared about kids drinking alcohol safely and responsibly, we'd probably actually lower the drinking age, which seems counterintuitive, but I really think that's the case. Increasing the cost by alcohol by 10% led to a 50% decrease in deaths caused by alcohol use. That's something that's true. Same thing happened with cigarettes, right? First step in recovering from alcohol use disorder is detoxification, so getting it out of your body. I would agree with that. Alcohol Anonymous, we'll talk about them today. Figuring out why a person's drink is an essential step for giving up alcohol. Yes, right? We got to know the why. And covering up someone's drinking is called enabling. That is true. And there are many people enable others to continue bad habits because they don't want to tell the person that they have bad habits. They don't want to have that conversation. It's just easier to, like I said, enable them. So there are a bunch of factors that affect our alcohol use, all right? There are individual and environmental factors. So individual factors are like your genetic makeup, all right? Who you are as a person. Also your mental health. So like for myself, when I look at this, so like my genetic makeup, alcoholism runs in my family. So my grandpa on my mom's side, my great-grandpa on my dad's side, both we would define as alcoholics, right? So genetic makeup for me, like I'm already at risk to become an alcoholic. Mental health, we've talked about this before. Generalized anxiety syndrome, dealt with that for my entire adult life. And so I am like, boom, checking both of these boxes. So again, that's why I need to be very, very careful about my alcohol use. There are also environmental factors. Family, all right? So genetic makeup is like what you're born with, like who you are as a person, but your family's use and abuse of alcohol can definitely lead to your feelings about alcohol as well. If you grew up in a family who drinks regularly and doesn't think it's a very big deal, then guess what? You're more likely to use alcohol. If you grew up in a family that maybe just moderately drinks, then you're likely better off. So family plays a big role. Culture plays a big role. My dad's side of the family, very Italian, like wine at every meal. Like that's a cultural thing. So how your culture feels about alcohol definitely plays a role. Your peers, if your friends are doing it, guess what? You're likely probably going to be using alcohol too, and not just using, but you're using it how they are using it, right? Because we have this innate like fear of being left out, or this fear of people making fun of you, thinking you're not cool, things like that. So if your peers are doing it, again, you are more likely to do this. And I'm not there right now, but I know that some of you inside are going, yeah, like that's me. Like I don't really want to, but my friends are doing it, so I'm gonna get left. Like this whole like social cultural thing is it's tough, man. Like I don't envy you, and I really don't envy you guys. Now looking at like it's all on social media, it's all on Snapchat. Like what your friends are doing. Like it's much easier to feel left out now. Which is like I said, I don't envy that. I feel bad for you. Community. How your community treats alcohol use. Some people or some communities are, more lenient than others. And then how it's portrayed in the media, right? We see all these shows where like alcohol use is glamorized. And we don't really see the downside of it, like the Gordy Bailey, right? The binge drinking aspect of it. That we don't always see on what's the Netflix show? Something Shores. Is that a show? Something like that. I can't remember. The kids were talking about it last quarter. But where they glamorize binge drinking and it's just this party and it's fun and there's no downside, right? So alcohol use and genetics. Did you know if one twin drinks heavily or has an alcohol use disorder, this person's identical twin is twice as likely as a fraternal twin to have similar issues. So if you are identical twins, again, genetically, you are more likely to have an alcohol use disorder. Same if someone has a family history of AUDs, does this mean that the person will automatically have one? No, does not mean that they will automatically have one, but it does mean that they are more likely to. All right. We talked about this last on Thursday. Why is self-medication not an effective way to cope with anxiety and depression, right? It just puts a Band-Aid on it. It doesn't change anything. So using your skills on preventing alcohol use, right? Pay attention to your mental health. If you are not in a good mental health state, then you should not be using, and this is, I'm saying this for like when you guys are 21 and legal drinking age, but if you're not in a good mental health state, it shouldn't be like, and we see this, you see this a lot with tobacco too, but I need a drink. I need a cigarette, right? I need to smoke. Like if you're not in a good mental health state, then you cannot, like, you are just prolonging the inevitable. You're not dealing with it. You think you are, but you're not. So pay attention to your mental health. If you're in a bad mental health state, don't use drugs or alcohol. Resist peer pressure, right? That's an easy thing for me to say. It is a very, very, like, I'm an adult and I still feel peer pressure when it comes to things like alcohol. So it's a hard thing to do. It is hard to say no. It is hard to go home. It is hard to not, if your friends are doing it and you're choosing, like, that's a really, really, really hard thing to do. But it's an important thing to do, and it's important to practice it, right? So developing these refusal skills, not just ghosting your phone or, what I mean? Like being like, nah, dude, I don't want to do that. I have a good friend. I don't know if I've told a story in here before. Very, very, we grew up together. We played hockey together. He ended up, he played at the University of Minnesota for the Golden Gophers. And then transferred to Bemidji State to play his last year there, and then played professionally for 5-6 years, and now is a real estate insurance agent, which is what every hockey player does. That's besides the point. But so this is a kid who's played like 3 years of junior hockey, 4 years of elite Division I level college hockey, and then professionally. And what do those, there's a stigma attached to those players that they like to party, that they like to drink it, and that's kind of the reality for a lot of these guys. But my buddy has never touched a drop of alcohol in his life. So his refusal skills are fantastic. Wasn't always easy, but he just made a decision early on that, he's got alcoholism in his family and he doesn't want to be a part of that sort of culture. And that's not who he wants to be. And like, has never touched a drop of alcohol in his life, which I'm so proud of him. Like, that's impressive, right? So participate in education prevention programs, kind of like what we're doing here. So Detoxification, medications, and therapy. So one of the first steps in treating alcohol use disorder is like allowing your body to clear itself of alcohol. If you are a serious alcoholic, though, you can't do that right away. You have to do it in steps because your body has learned to rely on alcohol for its functioning. So you can't just do it right away. Medications alter how the body responds to alcohol use. So they have medications that literally can make you throw up and get super sick the instant that you drink alcohol. So if you are consistently taking those medications, then if you drink, you're going to get very, very sick. And the sad part is that some people are so addicted to alcohol that they still do that. Therapy, learning skills to help you stop drinking. There's support groups, right? Groups of people with common struggles. So like the most common one is Alcoholics Anonymous, where they share their obstacles and examples of like how they overcame them, right? It's probably the most well-known support group for people with AUDs. But there's, Gamblers Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. There's support groups for anything. It doesn't always have to be necessarily Alcoholics Anonymous. It can just be a group of friends that get together and talk about, how they're dealing with their struggles. So some self-management strategies, just avoiding situations where alcohol is present. If you don't think that your refusal skills are good, right, then you shouldn't put yourself in that situation, right? Respond in new ways. So, you can, honestly, like you can make an excuse. That's okay, right? It's okay to be like, oh no, I got a test in the morning. That's an okay thing to do. All right. Learn new strategies for handling stress. Like I said, using alcohol or drugs or anything like that to handle your stress in your life is not a good thing. And then develop different strategies for refusing alcohol. Right. So how do you help somebody? Right. It's hard. It's hard to help somebody who has an alcohol use problem. A lot of times we just end up enabling them. Typically, you're not going to be able to do it on your own. You're going to need help. So whether it's friends, family, things like that, don't try to punish, threaten, beg, or bribe. It's a lot of just, hey, you have a problem. All right. And we're going to read it. Should be able to print it off. I think on Monday, we're going to read an article about a local guy who dealt with, not local, but many from Minneapolis who dealt with alcoholism. And not only is he's an alcoholic, he owns a company that produces vodka, and his wife works in the wine industry. So this guy's life is like surrounded by alcohol, and he's an alcoholic. So how does he deal with it? What do they do to get him help? So we're going to read that on Monday, I think. But yeah, you can't try to punish, threaten. Like at the end of the day, people who are alcoholics really do need to make that decision for themselves that they're going to get help. You can try to push them in that right direction, but they have to, within their own head, make that decision. And don't cover up or help to avoid the consequences of drinking. Don't cover up for people. Don't try to help them avoid those consequences. That only enables them and lets the alcohol use continue, right? Okay. If you care enough about someone, you can cure the person's alcohol use disorder. Absolutely not. Like, my mom cared deeply about my grandpa. She couldn't cure him, right? Like, to get a treatment, a person with an AUD needs to recognize that they have a problem, right? And they have to want to change. Nobody can force a person to stop drinking alcohol. Okay. What is the use of alcohol to handle issues such as anxiety and depression called? It's called self-medication. Did you guys hear that? My dryer's done. What's the process that allows the body to clear itself of alcohol or other drugs? That's called detoxification. How does a sponsor help an AA participant? By providing support, empathy, and accountability. So, like I said, we're going to do chapter 12.2 review. Talk about we're going to read that article on Monday. We're also going to look at the chapter review for both chapters 12.1 and 12.2. And like I said, this is it, guys. I am back on Monday. I am excited. I will see you then. Again, thanks to Mr. G for being a rock star for these last couple of weeks for me. And hey, we'll see you guys Monday.